He has a problem that some of the richest people on the planet do not have. His problem is that he needs a facial so just that he can go to sleep. And he is one of the most richest person on the planet. I'm sure you would love to meet him and learn from him. Hi there, hope you're safe and are having a ball of a time. My name is Gaurav Gupta. I'm a best-selling author, an international motivational speaker, and a business coach. It's my personal mission to impact 100,000 people through my work by the end of 2021. And as a part of that mission, it's my endeavor to keep bringing new, engaging, enriching, and entertaining content for you. As a part of this, today I'm happy to announce the beginning of another series. This series is called Ditch the Ordinary, Create an Intense Extraordinary Life. This is based on my best-selling book, Ditch the Ordinary. My book brings to you my years of research into the lives of some of the most amazing, extraordinary people on the planet. People who had a choice to live a life like Kumbhakaran or Sisyphus. Kumbhakaran is a character from Indian mythology who was condemned to a lifetime of sleeping. And Sisyphus is a character from the Greek mythology who was condemned with a never-ending task of rolling a big boulder uphill just to see that boulder slip down again, and he had to do this again and again, and for eternity he was in that loop. Majority of human population, they live their lives either like Kumbhakaran, sleeping to life and the opportunities it brings, or like Sisyphus, stuck in a task routine which is very disempowering. They want to break it, but they cannot break it. The people whom I talk about in my book are the people who chose to ditch this ordinary life. They chose to break away from a Kumbhakaran or a Sisyphus kind of a lifestyle, and they cautiously designed their own destiny. In this series, I bring for you the stories and lessons from these extraordinary people that I've compiled in my book. This series is almost like video chapters or video lessons from my book. I'm sure you will enjoy this series. Today, in the first episode of this series called Ditch the Ordinary, we will learn from an extraordinary master, Christopher. Christopher's life was nothing short of a miracle. That's why I have named this chapter The Wonder of a Fairy Tale. Let's listen to Christopher's story and let's learn something from Christopher Paul Gardner. Every evening as the clock struck 5, Chris would be in a strong dilemma. Sitting on his work desk, he had to decide whether he should pick up the phone and make another call that will take him closer to an opportunity, or should he leave to catch the bus. Missing the bus would mean that he will get late to pick up his 2-year-old from the daycare, and eventually they'll be late to queue up for the night shelter and be homeless again that night. Even leaving on time would not guarantee night shelter. Some nights they were homeless and the only shelter they could find were public restrooms on train stations. On other nights, they would seek refuge in trains, in parking lots of airports, or sometimes even under Chris' work desk. Life had been a constant struggle for this young man. His childhood was marked with abject poverty, domestic violence, alcoholism, abuse, and family illiteracy. He never knew his father. His mother was convicted. His early years were spent at foster homes or with guardians. Still, this young man managed to graduate and joined the Navy. Later, he quit the Navy and was working as a medical equipment salesperson. A year later, in pursuit of a better career, Chris gave up his sales job for a broker trainee program. However, this program did not materialize. He was left with no salary and no hopes. His wife abandoned him and their 19-month-old son. He was jailed for outstanding parking violations. He later enrolled as a trainee at a firm, but his stipend couldn't cover the cost of a house. Every morning for a year, Chris would leave his son at the daycare, reach office, do cold calling, and every evening they would hit the roads searching for the night shelter. There were times when Chris doubted himself and questioned what he was doing and where they were heading. Imagine yourself in this situation, a life full of constant and never-ending struggle. No love and care, no role models, no guidance, no support, and no one to look up to in troubled times. Life seems useless, worthless, and hopeless. Fear, hopelessness, and discouragement sets in, and the best escape route is to lead an irresponsible life, giving up on hope and dreams, taking up to alcoholism, drugs, violence, abuse, frustration, and lead an animal or vegetable life. Chris had all these choices. At times, Chris contemplated quitting, but the hope of providing a better future for his son encouraged him to keep trying. Despite his challenging circumstances, he was not ready to settle for a disempowered life. He endured bravely through this tough time, and with the hope that he can make it, he kept on keeping on. Chris completed his broker training and became a full-time broker. Every day he would put in his 100% and then a little extra. His job was to cold call prospective customers to discuss investment avenues. Let me ask you a question. If you were in that kind of a job, how many calls do you think is it possible for a human to normally make on an average in a day? 10, 20, 30, 40? I would say at max 100, especially when you're discussing investment avenues. Let's see what Chris was doing. Chris figured out that if he skipped his breaks and he did not keep the receiver down, he would be able to make far more calls. He worked with a madman's passion, logging as many as 200 calls a day. One of the senior executives of a global investment bank was dating one of Chris' colleagues. He observed Chris in action and he was very impressed with his dedicated, disciplined work ethic. He offered Chris a position. Chris accepted it, and with the advance, he was able to secure an apartment for him and his son. And finally, Lady Luck smiled at him for the first time and they were off the streets. At the new job, Chris was like a sponge. He soaked up every bit of knowledge he could. He surrounded himself with smart people, learnt as much as he could, and transformed himself into a strong financial professional. His dedication and hard work earned him the confidence of management, and slowly he moved from picking stocks to total return strategies. This was a small success and Chris was very comfortable. But you know something about extraordinary achievers, extraordinary masters? They do not stay in their comfort zone. Let's see what Chris did further. Chris kept moving forward and did not stay in his comfort zone. Within 5 years, with the help of some friends, small capital and a piece of furniture, he founded his own institutional brokerage firm. He later sold his stake in the firm in a multi-million-dollar deal and became the CEO and founder of Christopher Gardner International Holdings. Gardner's story was a low-profile success story until a TV station aired a segment about his occasional charity work at the church, where he used to stand in line for food during his homeless days. A TV producer watched it and convinced him to share his story on ABC's news magazine 2020 so that he can be a message of hope for others. The show ran on Friday and was a great hit. Monday morning, Chris was bombarded with phone calls from people all over: agents, producers, TV show hosts, magazines, publishing houses, and even strangers who looked at his story as a story of hope and could identify with his situation and his circumstances. HarperCollins published his as-told story titled The Pursuit of Happiness. It was an instant sensation. A production house approached Chris and they started shooting a movie based on the book and on Chris' life. I'm sure you must have watched this movie. This movie was titled In Pursuit of Happiness, and Chris' character was played by none other than Will Smith. If you have not watched this movie, I would encourage you to go ahead and watch this movie today. It's a wonderful piece of inspiration, a masterpiece, wonderfully made, wonderfully acted, and it will provide you hope and faith, even in circumstances which look hopeless and full of despair. On the sets of the film, Gardner reflected how the story of his life has taken a life of its own. Gardner thinks that some of the things he had gone through were God's way of getting him ready for this role. Post the success of the movie and the book, Gardner is sought by individuals and institutions to share his story to inspire people. Many producers want him to judge reality shows. Gardner gives the credit of his success to his mother and the spiritual heritage he received from her. She instilled in him the belief that he could dream and can fulfill those dreams. He says he got very lucky, but he's just being modest. He got lucky because he chose to be lucky and then worked for it. From a cart full of possessions to designer watches, tailored suits, Hawaiian vacations, from being homeless to living at the Trump Tower, from being an unknown salesperson to the Oprah show, Hollywood, and being an international motivational speaker, Gardner has come a long, long way. Gardner is the richest man on the planet. He's not rich because of his bank balance, but because of his large heart and an indomitable will. He's healthy and he loves his work. His greatest achievement is not wealth, the best-selling book, or the Hollywood movie. His greatest wealth is that despite tough circumstances, he never gave up on his children. He has not only proved to be a good father, but has been a wonderful citizen. He's contributing towards education, employment, funding to help the homeless, fighting against violence towards women, inspiring and motivating people to take control of and find meaning in their own lives. Gardner also is the happiest man on the planet. In an interview, he shares that he has a problem that some of the richest people on the planet do not have. And his problem is that he sometimes needs a facial so just that he can go to sleep. And you know why? Because his face hurts so much from smiling that if he doesn't get a facial, it will hurt and he'll not be able to sleep. Wow, what a fantabulous problem to have. An ordinary man with extraordinary dreams tuned into his unique human endowments and worked the success principles outlined in the book Ditch the Ordinary to create a magical life for himself. Gardner's life is a message to all of us that you can either whine or you can win. You can either be a victim of the circumstances and throw excuses around, or you can choose to be victor, move ahead and pursue happiness. but it's a choice that only you can exercise. The lives of extraordinary masters like Christopher Paul Gardner are the universe's way of reminding us that right in the middle of an ordinary life, you can live a fairy tale, but you are the creator. Miracles do happen, but if you want a miracle, you have to commit to be a miracle yourself. So here's what you should do if you truly want to live an extraordinary life like Christopher Paul Gardner. Number 1, dream big. Have dreams which are bigger than your current reality. Number 2, remember, the future is definitely better. Number 3, invest in yourself and in your dream. It could be training, it could be education, it could be daily disciplines. Invest in your dreams. Number 4, take action. Start, begin. This is where majority of people get stuck. And in his second book, Start Where You Are, that's Gardner's message, that you need to just begin. Begin and everything else will fall in place. Number 5, say yes to the universe. There would be times when situations are out of your control. Just like Gardner's life took him through ups and downs, he could not control. But at the end, believe that God or the universe has a bigger grand plan for you. And if you say yes to the universe, you will be taken to your destiny. Number 6, have the courage, especially in those times when things are not going your way. Just hold on. Believe in yourself, in your dream, trust the God, and keep on keeping on. And finally, celebrate life. Life is just a one-time affair. You do not get this life again and again. No matter what your pursuit is, you'll be happy only if you truly understand how you can celebrate small and larger gifts of God, or the universe, or life. If you can do all these, nothing can stop you from achieving your dreams, and you'll truly be able to live an extraordinary, exceptional life. I hope you enjoyed this first episode of the new series called Ditch the Ordinary, which is based on my best-selling book, and you also enjoyed Christopher Paul Gardner's story. My book contains many such inspirational stories and very profound life lessons from some mavericks. So if you have not picked the book so far, do it right now. If you have not subscribed to my channel so far, do it right now, and don't forget to click the bell icon. And if you like this video, do share it across with your friends, family and loved ones so that they can also benefit from my work. Do write to me in the comments below how you liking the channel, how did you like this series, how you liking the other series which we have recently created for you, what else would you like us to create for you, and I love to create some engaging, wonderful content for you. I look forward to hear from you. I'll see you around. You have a great rest of the day. Thank you.